Just a casual conversation with JoJo today. Hi, lady.
Hi, boo.
How are you?
Good. Look at your crispy kicks. I love it.
You know, they don't see the light of day anymore, so I had to bring them out for you.
Fresh out the box.
Definitely. But for Complex News, I'm Natasha Martinez, sitting with hitmaker and Grammy winner JoJo. I am honored to be sitting across from you.
Oh my God, thank you. It's going great.
Yeah.
Beautiful downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah. We got the vibes. I feel like
yeah.
this is very your energy right now.
Oh, well,
I
thank
love.
you.
Would you agree? Are you kind of like serenity
I
moment
try
right
to
now?
be. I try to keep my personal zen intact as much as I can, but it's
hard.
Moment to moment thing.
Oh, for sure.
So I do like to be in more tranquil, serene environments because it promotes that.
Yes.
So if I pop off or feel the desire to get tense, I can be like, but just look at my surroundings.
You won your first Grammy at the start of 2020, really coming out the gate. So when you had that moment, especially given your entire journey starting at 13, all the trials that you went through to get to this new album and the Grammy, how did that feel for you?
Thank you to PJ Morton is how it felt. Like
yes.
That's my friend for life, for real. And it was really validating to begin this year with that experience because R&B is the music that inspired me. That's the genre that I've always felt most safe and comfortable and myself in. Mm-hmm. And to be acknowledged and received and to win in that category for the song that PJ and I did was really just full circle because I just trusted my gut. There was no weird industry politics or no it would be hot if these two artists got together and made a song. It wasn't like anything, there was no strategery.
Yeah.
It was just PJ sent me the song, I loved it. We met, we had a mutual respect for each other and people liked it and then it won a Grammy and I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna follow my gut more often.
Yeah.
Fuck it, it's time,
Having all of your trials and issues before, did it sort of make sense in a way? Like once you got to that moment, like you think back, you're like, I don't regret anything, or was it sort of that feeling of, I understand that this was supposed to be my journey?
My therapist said, don't should all over yourself. I should have done this, or I should have known better, or I should have blah, blah, blah. But when I was on that red carpet, it was my first time ever being on the Grammys red carpet, and I just felt like there's no one here who's more excited than me. There's no one here who's more grateful than me, because my journey has been so unique and so what a crazy ascension at such a young age. Yeah. Even though by the time I was 13, I was like, it's about time. I've been doing this since I was born.
Yes.
But I was like, the perspective that I have and the gratitude that I feel to be here because I've been in this industry with such longevity and I'm not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
I was so excited. This presence and this gratitude that I feel, I wouldn't have felt it if it had come the way that I imagined it, when I was a teenager.
They say all things that are worth it don't come easy, right? So,
damn it!
I know. We're like, why?
Why?
But then you get to that moment and you're like,
ooh, it's sweet.
Yes, definitely. So transitioning into just that space that you feel like that validation, I really feel like I have to recognize that you have been glowing since your release of Good to Know.
Oh, thank you.
And I just really, when you could tell someone's happy?
Yes.
Especially even in photos even sometimes, you can just genuinely tell when the eyes are happy and bright. And that's just what I keep seeing from you. And not just in your music, but in your life. But I do have to ask you, how much of that had to do with you abstaining from sex? Was it for a year?
Almost. Right? I didn't quite make a year.
You didn't? Okay.
It was like 10 months. It was a strong 10 months.
That's a hard thing to do.
For somebody who has been in relationships since they were 14 years old, I realized that I never really gave myself a break. Not just from sex, but from intimacy, distraction, from partnership, from having somebody to bounce onto, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realized that I had never really free fallen. And I really needed to feel free in different areas. And I think that it was a form of self-care for me to know that I was always gonna be, even if I went on a date, the answer was just no, It feels really nice to know that you're desired and desirable and to not be available, to take things all the way. I really enjoyed that.
Now, are you still on your single vibe or any quarantine dating happening for you?
I am not married.
Yes, I like that answer.
I am not
Unless
married.
there's a ring. You're
You know,
single.
when I was 17, this was my first tattoo. I got this treble
Married
clef.
to the music.
Married to the music. Because at 17, I was like, this is the type of bitch I am. I'm just gonna, prioritize my music. And I was like, and someone's gonna have to put a rock bigger than this on top of the thing. So I've changed my feeling a little bit.
That's a big rock.
It's a big rock.
Guys, pay attention, okay?
What I realized also through the process of being abstinent and stuff, our love life is so much more than just our romantic life. Mm-hmm. I needed to learn how to have a love life with myself, how to be able to look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, you're dope and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And you honor your commitments to yourself and you're a good friend and you're a good daughter and you try and you succeed and all these little things. So, it's my love life is full right now, to be honest with you.
Amen to that. Take us to church. Now, getting back to the album, you released it pretty much at the height of the stay-at-home order, which I'm sure must have been a difficult decision for you. But what was maybe the hardest part about releasing it on schedule, and maybe a surprise that was positive in releasing it on schedule for you?
I don't know. I feel kind of weird talking about how hard it was because people have it so hard right now during this pandemic. So I feel like a total dick talking about my disappointments about my tour being pushed back. But in all honesty, because all I can speak to is my experience mm-hmm. and how it's been for me. That was the biggest bummer of it, is not being able to travel and go to city and have that human to human interaction with fans on tour. Because I love touring. I love touring and I love singing live every night and having that exchange is so intoxicating to me. And that's another part of my love life. I mm-hmm. love my fans. I love that exchange. And I would say, so that was the biggest bummer for me, a hard pill to swallow, because everything's up in the air. It's what will touring look like when we do go back to it? We staying optimistic about. I was
going to say, do you have a discussion about when is the right time for you?
It's next year. It's definitely 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're playing it by ear just like everybody else.
Would you say that this is your best work to date? Good to know.
Yeah, I would say it is. Mm-hmm. Because shit, it just is.
Yes.
I just really
talk your shit.
I love it. And that's why I was like, I want to perform this because I feel that I'm my best self. I feel more confident than ever. And these songs are so good.
So good.
And that's also why I put out the acoustic album, because I think the songs stand alone. You can strip back the production and strong melodies, strong lyrics. I'm proud.
Kiss is my absolute favorite.
Oh, thank you.
It's
I just want to kiss you, not looking for love. I love that.
A lot of label stuff have come up as of recently, but really when you were going through it, no one talked about it,
right.
And so I could imagine, especially at your age, how that would have been so helpful. So how did you find your power when you were going through that?
Man, I felt so isolated, and I felt like a pariah, or I felt like someone who had kind of been just forgotten and cast away. And just a casualty of the industry. And I'm like, I will be damned if I'm a casualty of this gross shit that has nothing to do with music or talent or hard work or dedication or anything like that. I think the only thing that got me through was my fans, knowing that I had their unwavering support, my team reminding me of that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even when I couldn't see it. And one of my favorite quotes, which is "the only way out is through." I was like, well, I'm not gonna end it. I'm thankful I've never gotten to that place emotionally where I wanted to not be here anymore. It's like, so since I'm still gonna be here, I gotta make the best of it. I have to take accountability for what I can control. And I started to focus more on those things.
So talking about regaining your power, you just released The Change, which was selected as the official Biden-Harris campaign song.
Crazy.
That's insane. What does it feel to be such a big part of really American history at this moment?
Wow. Well, we needed something to make us feel okay right now, because things feel and look and are so not okay in so many ways. I'm gonna see that day. Change is gonna find me. We have a leader who is not leading us, and I want to see a change in that leadership. I know I'm not alone when I say that. So it's an honor that my voice might be the soundtrack to people's, drive to the polls, or to their just getting their thoughts together. Another 4 years of this is unimaginable, actually.
It really is.
But
yeah.
I thought a lot about voting, actually, when I went out to protest this year. In my first protest, actually, I went with Natasha and her family, and because they've been very active in rallying and protesting for years on different issues that they believe in. And as I was in this sea of people, I was thinking, all these people had a choice to come. Nobody needed to come, nobody was forced. Every individual made up that sea of people. And it's the same thing with voting. If I just say, oh, it doesn't matter, and then you and I are friends, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to vote, and you're like, oh, well, if she's not going, then maybe I won't go because it really doesn't matter, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen. There are some people, older people, who vote like their life depends on it.
Yeah.
So we have to do the same, particularly
Exactly.
young people, because there's this sense of patriotism and duty that came, I think, with older generations. We don't feel that same thing.
Yeah.
But we don't get to complain about what's going on with this country if we don't exercise that responsibility.
You make a good point. We should be voting like our lives depend on it, like a lot of the older generation.
Yeah.
And I actually love that you were selected as the person to sing the change because, like I said, we're about the same age. And I really feel like our generation is the one that has the responsibility right now.
Yes.
We are thinking about after us, our generations after, but we are now the adults,
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciated that it was somebody like you that I could identify myself with in a lot of different ways, kind of leading that charge.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So I want to talk about the change's message for you, and there's a specific lyric. It says, I'm not going to waste no more time being blind, which resonated so much with me for some reason. So what does that mean to you?
I think that the pandemic and everybody being at home and probably glued to their devices, watching the news, a lot of people were forced to look at things that really made them uncomfortable, to come to terms with the realities of America, systemic racism, injustice across the board, things that you can either busy yourself from or look away from, or in a lot of instances with different groups of people, they have arguments against it, and different perspectives on it. And this experience, I think, pulled the wool away from a lot of people's eyes. And I think that's why you saw record numbers of people in the streets protesting, and even suburban housewives who you thought didn't care or know or didn't get involved with those things or didn't like politics or whatever. They were like, we can't not be involved, because did you see that? Did you see that video? Did you hear that audio? Have you been having these conversations? So I just think if you're blind now, I don't know how you are.
Yeah. What's going to wake you up?
What could possibly wake you up?
But yes, the holiday album, I saw you met the Queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey, earlier this year.
My girl.
Did she give you any holiday tips? Did you know that you were having that project when you had met her earlier this year?
I think it was still a dream in my mind
Okay.
of doing this project, but to be honest, when I met her, that solidified my desire to do it. I'm like, I want to do Mariah proud, and I wanted to write original Christmas music. So half of the album is originals and half are classics. And it was definitely inspired by her original Christmas material, because that is the pinnacle. She is the best to ever do it. And she didn't per se give me, holiday advice, but her energy And the way that she made me feel left a lasting impression on me, and I want to make other younger artists feel the way that she made me feel when I was in her presence. She was so loving, kind, thoughtful, complimentary, encouraging of me. And I felt like she really saw me, and I got to see her. And that was a blessing.
And the fact that you can have those moments, you know, of course, with Mariah and the late Whitney Houston recognizing you and your music, getting sent flowers by her and her daughter. What is that like for the 13-year-old JoJo to then reach those moments like that? And how do you even process that?
When I received those flowers and it said from Whitney and Bobby Christina, I don't think I could have processed that at 13, and it's so meaningful to me now because, I mean, I was freaking out. I cried. I like ran through the halls, and you know, my mom and I did cry. We were so excited. But these moments now with my idols are even more meaningful because of my gratitude for having the longevity in this industry that I've had, the understanding of what it means to be able to do this for a living. Like, this is a dream. It really is a living dream. And so to be recognized by the women that inspired me to take a chance and to live my dream is everything. I was just lucky enough to get a call from Patti LaBelle the other day. She just called me and told me she liked the song The Change. I'm like, what is going on? You know, so I feel like I'm inside of a dream.
Well, I have to say, just everything about your spirit and your music and just what you give off is so inspiring. And I think longevity about those artists, and I see the longevity in you, and I know that you gonna be here for just as long as your idols and helping the next generation. So thank you, JoJo, for sitting down with us. Everybody go stream The Change out now. Be on the lookout for December Baby. It's coming out October?
End of October, yeah.
End of October. Thank you so much, JoJo. This was a blast.
Thank you. You're a treat. Thank you.
All right, we can turn the air on now. Ooh.